Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Prasar Bharati. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President to meet Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Washington today. Talks to address Tehran's ballistic missiles. White House says Trump fully supports Commerce Secretary Lutnick, even as he acknowledges lunch on Epstein's private island. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoles loss of lives in Canada shooting, says India stands with people of Canada. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Special Envoy to US President Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner in Washington on Tuesday. He is also expected to meet Donald Trump, and this will be the 7th meeting between Trump and Netanyahu since the US President returned to office last year. They also met in Jerusalem in October last year when Trump announced a ceasefire in Gaza. Wednesday's meeting comes days after Iran and the United States held talks in Oman, after which Trump said another round of negotiations would follow. The discussion is also expected to focus on energy issues and deregulation.
Tomorrow here at the White House, the president will host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for a bilateral meeting. The remainder of the week will be focused on energy and deregulation.
Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani held a telephonic conversation with the US President Donald Trump on Wednesday. The Emiri Divan said that two leaders discussed efforts for regional de-escalation and stability. The call comes ahead of a meeting between Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, where the Israeli Prime Minister is expected to press him to widen US talks with Iran to include curbs on Tehran's missile arsenal. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said Wednesday that his country would not yield to excessive demands on its nuclear program after Tehran resumed talks with the United States. Speaking at Azadi Square in the capital Tehran to mark 47th anniversary of Iran's Islamic Revolution, Pezeshkian said Iran was ready for any verification of its nuclear program and insisted it was not seeking an atomic weapon. Iran wants the talks to remain centered purely on its nuclear program, while the US also wants to discuss Iran's ballistic missile program. Meanwhile, advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Shamkhani said on Wednesday that Iran's missile capabilities are its red line and are not a subject to be negotiated.
Our country, Iran, will not yield to their excessive demands. Iran will not give in to injustice or aggression. But with all our capacity and in pursuit of peace and stability in the region, we are engaged in dialogue with our neighboring countries. The problem of the region can be solved by those who live in the region.
In a tragic shooting incident in Canada, at least 10 people were killed on Tuesday in a remote part of Western region. 6 people were found dead inside a high school in Tumbler Ridge. 2 more people were found at a residence believed to be connected to the incident, and another person died on the way to hospital. A suspected shooter was also found dead from what appears to be a self-inflicted injury. According to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, 27 people were injured, including 2 with serious injuries. Tumbler Ridge is a remote municipality with population of around 2,400 people located in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains in northern British Columbia. Canadian Prime Minister expressed grief over the deadly school shooting and suspended his planned visit to the Munich Security Conference. Mark Carney expressed his devastation over this shooting. He offered prayers and condolences to the victims' families and friends. Following the tragedy, the Prime Minister's office confirmed that his scheduled trip to the Munich Security Conference has been suspended. Prime Minister Narendra Modi extended his heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones in a shooting incident in Canada. In a message posted on X, PM Modi said, and I quote, Deeply shocked by the horrendous shooting in Canada, I extend my heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones and wish a speedy recovery to the injured. India stands in solidarity with the people of Canada in this moment of profound grief. A political storm linked to Jeffrey Epstein is intensifying on both sides of the Atlantic. In Washington, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick facing mounting calls to resign after admitting he once visited Epstein's private island. Meanwhile, in Britain, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is battling pressure within his own party over an Epstein-linked appointment. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi.
Mounting pressure is building on U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick as fresh revelations revive scrutiny of his past links to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. At the center of the storm, Lutnick's admission that he had lunch on Epstein's private Caribbean island in 2012, years after he had previously claimed to have severed all ties with the late financier. Emailed records now show plans for a meeting at Epstein Island. Lutnick insists there was nothing improper about the visit. He maintains he saw no wrongdoing and said only his family, another couple, and Epstein's staff were present at the time.
I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York, right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years, I met him 2 other times that I can recall. 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him. And then a year and a half after that, I met him and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person.
Despite growing calls for his resignation, President Donald Trump's administration has stood firmly by Lutnick.
No, Secretary Lutnick remains a very important member of President Trump's team, and the president fully supports the secretary.
Across the Atlantic, Epstein controversy is brewing up a political tempest for UK PM Keir Starmer. He's come under pressure over his decision to appoint veteran Labour figure Peter Mandelson as ambassador to Washington. A day after facing demands to step down, Prime Minister confirmed he will lead the Labour Party into the next election.
Well, what's happened over the last few days is that we've pulled together as a party and been absolutely crystal clear about the fight we need to have. And that's the fight on behalf of all the people in this country who don't get the respect, the dignity, and the chance that they deserve in life. That is the fight that we are in. That's who we're fighting for. I'm their Prime Minister, and this is their government.
Starmer now faces a key by-election on February 26th, followed by local elections in May, votes that could shape his and his party's future. Harshita Oberoi, DD India.
Sergei Lavrov said on Wednesday that Russia will keep observing the missile and warhead limits in the New START nuclear treaty with the United States, which expired last week, as long as Washington continues to do the same. The 2010 treaty ran out on February 5th, leaving the world's 2 biggest nuclear-armed powers with no binding constraints on their strategic nuclear arsenals. US President Donald Trump declined a formal proposal from Russian President Vladimir Putin to voluntarily abide by the New START limits for another year. Lavrov said Moscow would stick to the limits itself for now.
The United States has given no official response to President Putin's initiative that both sides continue to voluntarily observe the Strategic Offensive Arms Treaty central limits on strategic offensive nuclear-capable arms. Our position is that this moratorium on our side that was declared by the President is still in place, but only as long as the United States doesn't exceed the said limits. Overall, we will act responsibly and carefully based on our analysis of US military policy, which we conduct on a daily basis, and our assessment of the overall strategic situation.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also said that Moscow will take military countermeasures if the West boosts its own military footprint on Greenland. Several European countries have sent small contingents of troops to Greenland in recent weeks after President Donald Trump repeatedly said he wanted to annex the Arctic island. Lavrov said in a speech to Russian lawmakers that Russia will take adequate countermeasures, including military technical ones.
Разумеется, в случае милитаризации Гренландии, создания там военных потенциалов, нацеленных на Россию, мы примем адекватные контрмеры, в том числе военно-технического характера. Наша принципиальная позиция, тем не менее, Арктика должна оставаться зоной мира и сотрудничества.
After Operation Sindoor, the Indian Air Force is all set to deliver a clear message across the Western Front. Exercise Vayu Shakti 2026, the premier firepower demonstration, is scheduled to take place on February 27th. Vishal Barrister reports.
Over 100 aircraft, including 77 fighters and 43 helicopters, armed with lethal weapons, are set to dazzle the deserts of Rajasthan in the Pokhran field firing range. Terror will not be tolerated, the message is quite clear.
Message from Op Sindoor was clear. It was clear even before we took the first sortie up. It was that terrorism will not be tolerated, and every act of terror conducted on our soil will be responded to, and there will be a price to pay for the perpetrators. So that was the message from Sindoor.
And it would not be Air Force also. The Indian Army would also be demonstrating its firepower with the likes of L-70 guns. The Indian Air Force is looking forward to inducting many more advanced fighters. The sooner the better, says the Vice Chief.
You will see the howitzers being brought in. You will see the L-70s, once again a very potent platform that was used during Op Sindoor. You will see that also during this. Navy, unfortunately, is presently taken up with their international defense review that is also happening somewhere close by.
The whole idea of this demonstration is to showcase the firepower of Indian Air Force's battle-ready preparedness to the world. Representatives from the friendly foreign countries would also witness the event. This massive day and night exercise is held once every 3 years and serves as a showcase of the Indian Air Force's offensive and defensive capabilities, focusing on precision strikes and operational readiness in a simulated war environment. Vishal Barrister's report for DD India.
India and Oman continue to strengthen their long-standing partnership with growing cooperation in trade, manufacturing and industrial development. In this special interaction, DD India's Ankit Mishra spoke with Muntair Al-Rawahi, project head of the Ladain project, and Yahya Al-Dughaishi, Councillor for Trade and Promotion at the Embassy of the Sultanate of Oman in New Delhi. Take a listen.
Very warm welcome of you. I am Ankit Mishra with you and you are watching DD India. We are going to discuss about India-Oman economic relationship. Not just about the economic relationship, we are also discuss about aluminium manufacturing, downstream industry and also new investment opportunities. Because we all knows about that Oman is emerging key industrial hub in a Gulf region. That's the reason behind of that why Indian companies are exploring new avenues for a collaboration and expansion. To more discuss about in detail, we are joined by two distinguished guests with us, Mr. Muntair Ali Rawahi and Mr. Yahya Ali Dughaishi. Thank you for joining us, sir. Let me start with my first question, Mr. Al Rawahi. Could you briefly explain Oman downstream aluminium cluster and the vision behind the Ladain project?
Today we are here to explore and to give the opportunities also for the Indian manufacturers to know more about those products and also what benefits they will get if they will set up the manufacturing, their manufacturing facility in Oman next to Oman Aluminium Rolling Company. And we are here today to invite the Indian manufacturers to expand their business and also to explore different markets from Oman. As you mentioned at the beginning, I like that statement, by the way, which is Oman considered as a hub in the GCC region. So from Oman, you can access to different market, to bigger market.
Let me join with us Yahya Al Dughaishi, who is a Councillor, Trade and PR, Oman Embassy in Delhi. Sir, what message would you like to convey to Indian industry leaders, especially after PM Modi focus on expanding India global industry footprint?
The last visit of His Excellency Prime Minister of India to Oman, it's based on our long-standing historical relation between Oman and India. This historical relation has enhanced by the signing of CEBA agreement during the visit, and also Oman actually offers key investments incentives for the Indian investors, including 100% ownership and tax exemption, friendly business environment.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving this insight knowledge about Oman-India relationship with us and sharing your valuable time and your thoughts with us. Sign off with the camera person Kumar Datta, Ankit Mishra for DD India.
And still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Amidst political turmoil, Bangladesh is all set to head to the polls on February 12th. India eyes AI future as Summit 2026 highlights push to equip youth for 40% job shift. South Africa and Afghanistan produce double super over thriller in ICC Men's T20 World Cup match in Ahmedabad.
When we see so many things wrong around us, we just need to turn off our autopilot and start making conscious choices.
Raja Banerjee decided things needed changing and introduced organic farming methods. His aim, producing tea in harmony with nature.
Control-S is doing it is partnering with the government in using that treated water or the grey water into our data centers that in turn use less of power.
Industrial waste is also cleaner, and there's a lot of it. Taiwan has a lot of big industry, in particular semiconductors and petrochemicals, so there's big potential for reuse there.
To make the process more efficient, he created an app. The app already shows where the trees are and when they were last watered, so you can also plan a route near your home.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj, and France's Marine Le Pen's appeal trial over alleged misuse of European Parliament funds is ending Wednesday, with one question looming. Will the French far-right leader be able to run for president next year? Earlier this month, prosecutors in the appeal trial requested a 5-year ban on running for public office for Le Pen, but said this should not be enforced immediately. Le Pen is challenging a March 2025 verdict that found her and over 20 other members of a National Rally party guilty of misusing European Parliament funds in the hiring of aides from 2004 to 2016 and banned her from holding elected office for 5 years. In Bangladesh, the Election Commission on Wednesday began distributing ballot boxes and other election materials to polling centres across the country ahead of Thursday's 13th National Parliamentary election and referendum. According to the Bangladesh Election Commission, ballot boxes are expected to reach polling centres by the evening. At distribution points, polling officials were seen collecting materials under the supervision of law enforcement agencies. Officials said the items are being checked against official lists before being transported, and booths will be set up in preparation for voting. Polling will take place from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. without any break at 42,779 centres in 299 constituencies. Voting in Sherpur 3 has been postponed following the death of a candidate. The Election Commission said 12.77 crore voters, including 6.48 crore men and 6.28 crore women, are eligible to cast their ballots. The referendum, to be held alongside the general election, seeks public approval for key constitutional and institutional reforms under the proposed July Charter. However, critics argue that placing multiple reforms under a single yes or no vote limits voters' ability to make individual choices and narrows space for debate. Security has been tightened nationwide, with nearly 958,000 members of law enforcement agencies supported by the army deployed to ensure a peaceful environment. Checkpoints and patrols have been intensified in Dhaka, while CCTV cameras have been installed at more than 90% of polling centres for round-the-clock monitoring. Voting will take place for the 13th Jatiya Sangsad election on Thursday. According to the Election Commission, 2,034 candidates are contesting from 51 parties across 299 constituencies with over 127 million voters eligible. BNP has the highest number of candidates. Voting will be held using ballot papers amid assurances of zero tolerance for violence. Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin, while addressing the nation, urged voters to exercise their franchise without fear.
I wish to reaffirm the Election Commission's unwavering commitment to delivering a peaceful, credible and participatory election. Comprehensive security and coordination arrangements are in place with support of law enforcement agencies and the government of Bangladesh.
As India gears up for the India AI Impact Summit 2026, a look at how artificial intelligence enables systems to learn from experience, adapt to new situations and solve complex problems independently. At a time when AI is expected to take over 40% of jobs globally, the Government of India is taking various initiatives to expand the AI ecosystem and connect the AI opportunities to the youth.
Usage of artificial intelligence-based applications is growing at a rapid pace around the world. AI skills are among the fastest growing skills, which means that there's an opportunity for many industries to invest more heavily in their AI capabilities. The growing knowledge of AI skills in the workforce is impacting different industries and job functions globally. Therefore, finding or keeping a job will require skill upgradation or learn new ones. According to the IMF, nearly 40% of global jobs are exposed to AI-driven change. Over 60% of jobs may be impacted by the AI in advanced economies, whereas AI exposure is expected to be 40% in emerging markets. The figure is expected to be around 26% in low-income countries. Professionals, particularly in the IT sector, are seeing the most demand for new skills. Trends also suggest that employers pay more for workers who acquire emerging skills. India too faces the challenges of artificial intelligence integration and its impact on job creation. The Government of India considers AI to be a kinetic enabler for the growth of the country's digital economy, investments and jobs. India's artificial intelligence strategy aims to address India-centric challenges and create opportunities and jobs in AI. As per the Standard AI Index Report 2025, India has secured the third position globally in artificial intelligence competitiveness. India leads the world in AI talent acquisition with an annual hiring rate of about 33%. India's AI talent base is expected to more than double by 2027 with a compound annual growth rate of around 15%. The country has seen the AI talent concentration grow more than threefold since 2016.
AI right now, there is a lot of sometimes fear around job loss. There's a lot of investment that has gone into it, which people are looking for returns on investment. It is our job as technologists to ensure that that magic translates to value for the common man.
Despite the opportunities, uncertainty persists regarding the types of jobs AI will create, their long-term sustainability, and the skills they will demand. Preparing the workforce to navigate these transformations is no longer optional. It has become an imperative for governments, industries, and educational institutions alike. Bureau Report, DD India.
And time now for some sports news. South Africa survived the group of death by outlasting Afghanistan in a match that went into 2 super overs in Group D encounter of the T20 World Cup in Ahmedabad. The match went to super over after both teams finished on 187 runs. Proteas had it won when the last over of regulation time began, when Afghanistan needed 13 with 1 wicket in hand. Kagiso Rabada though bowled 2 no-balls, but running error allowed them to tie the match. They were then done and dusted, but Tristan Stubbs hit a last ball 6 to force a second super over. This one left Afghanistan needing 4 sixes after 4 balls. Rahmanullah Gurbaz, who scored 84 off 42 in regulation time, hit 3 of them, needed just a 4 to take it to the 3rd super over, but hit straight to the point for a wicket, leaving them heartbroken. England will take on West Indies in an evenly matched and crucial Group C clash of the World Cup in Mumbai. England survived a low-ranked Nepal who came agonizingly close to upsetting them in their opening encounter. Both the teams have won the competition twice in the past and are chasing a 3rd title win like the defending champions, India. That's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.